Hello, pre-algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here with your flipped lesson, and today I was going to do that thing I promised to do a couple videos ago. Now, really quick, I'm just going to make a t-table here, and I'm going to do this the long way. Using the three-point method. It's very important to know how to do it using the three-point method. And sorry about my crooked lines there, but I'm in a better hurry, and I'm also traveling at the same time. Don't worry, I'm not doing the driving. All right. And I'm just going to get 2 points. Excuse me. I'm going to plug 0 in for x. And so I'm going to go y equals 1/3 times 0 plus 4. All right, and when I solve, I'm going to get y equals 4. Right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice it happened again that I've got a plus 4 there. Okay. Now I want to show you something else here. I'm going to plug 3 in for x, and I'm going to get y equals 1/3 times 3 plus 4, and that's 1 plus 4, so y equals 5. So I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, up 1, 1, 2, 3. And you might not know what I did just there, but trust me, that point's on that line. And draw my line. I'm going to put a arrowhead on this end. Now check this out. I'm going to circle these 2 points. I'm going to count my rise, which is 1. I'm going to count my run, 1, 2, 3. And look at that. That slope right there matches that. You see that? This works every time that y is alone. When does this work? When y is alone. When does it work? When y is alone. Hey, when does this work? When y is alone. What happens when y is alone? You have an equation called slope-intercept form. And when y is all by itself, you know the y-intercept. It's the number added or subtracted to x, and you know the slope. Okay, the slope is the coefficient on x. We usually like that to be a fraction of a whole number. We turn it into a fraction. Now you might be wondering, why do they use b? Well, you're going to see in a minute, b is going to be the beginning of our graph. We're going to begin with the y-intercept. And why do they use m for slope? That's going to be our movement. Movement. In other words, it's going to tell us how much to rise and how much to run. This is slope-intercept form, and the y must be alone. It must say y equals. If it says 2y equals, you're not in slope-intercept form. It says y minus 5 equals, you're not in slope-intercept form. You have to isolate the y. So let's take a look at how this might work. Let's look at this equation here. Let's go with y equals 2/3 x minus 5. Is the y alone? Why, yes it is. I can identify my b. My y-intercept is the point 0, -5. So I'm going to go 0 in the x direction, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the y direction. And I'm going to infinitely clone that point. Now watch this. My slope is the coefficient on x. In this case, it's 2/3. The numerator is my rise number. The denominator is my run number, right? So from here, I'm going to rise 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to run 1, 2, 3. And look at that. Now, if I want to get a third point, like in our t-table, we had 3 points, right? From the next point, I can rise 1, 2, and then run 1, 2, 3. And there we go. I'm ready to draw my line. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can draw my line. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And there we go. I get a perfect line. Remember, this only works if y is alone. Let's look at another one here. Okay, this time let's say we have y equals 4x. Let's make it negative 4x plus 6. All right, first thing I do is find my y-intercept. It's got to be on the y-axis. It's going to be 0, 6. And so I'm going to go 0 in the x direction, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm going to come over here and find my slope. My slope is negative 4, but I want that as a fraction, so I'll stick it over 1. Because negative 4 divided by 1 is the same as negative 4. Okay, so I'm going to rise negative 4. There's my rise number, which means I'm going to go down 4, and I'm going to run positive 1. So from the y-intercept, oops, I forgot to infinitely clone him. So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and run 1. From that point, I could go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and run 1. Sorry, the fan hit a bump there. All right. Now, by the way, what's the difference between negative 4 over 1, and 4 over negative 1? All right. Nothing. They're exactly the same thing. Watch what happens in this case where I'm going to rise positive 4 and run negative 1. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and back 1. And look at that, I end up on the same line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And I get a line that looks kind of like that. And there we go. All right. So let's try one last one. Negative 2/3 x plus, let's do minus this time. 2/3 x minus 4. Okay, so I'm going to find my y-intercept. And in this case, I'm going to get the point 0, negative 4. It's always 0, and then negative 4, then the number if I'm on the y-axis. Y-intercept has to be on the y-axis. And then my slope is going to be negative 2/3. Now, if you want to say that's a rise of negative 2 and a run of 3, you can do that. Or you could put the negative downstairs and have it be a rise of 2 and a run of negative 3. I'll do it both ways to prove to you that works. I'm going to infinitely clone this guy. And I'm going to rise negative 2. And I'm going to run 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm going to rise positive 2 and then run negative 3. 1, 2, 3. And look at that. All 3 points end up on the same line. You've got to be adept at doing this different ways. Okay, the days of just doing something one way and getting it over with are over. Getting you guys ready for high school algebra. If you choose to not do your best, you're not going to be ready for high school, and you're going to end up on the 5 or the 6-year plan. You become a freshmore or something like that. And it is a very serious reality. Some of your classmates will be 18-year-old sophomores. Don't let that happen to you. All right, that's it for the lesson today. We'll get some practice with that in class tomorrow. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Good night, everybody.